where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 452. It is another random week, and this week I'm coming at you with some Wes Craven from 1988. Man, one of the best films I think he ever did, A Serpent and the Rainbow. What a film, man. What a film. Revisited this last night with my wife, actually, and had decided to throw a Bill Pullman double feature, man. We watched Spaceballs first, and then went through this on. And I have to say, man, this movie's hitting me in a not so different way than The Prince of Darkness has recently hit me. And, you know, I had only owned that on DVD, and my upgrade came only when the 4K by Scream Factory came out. So I had snagged that. And because that movie was already starting to, I don't know, dig into me. And so having revisited this last night, I'm thinking the same thing, man. Probably will not upgrade. I know Scream Factory put out a Blu-ray of this, and I'm sure there's commentaries and some great extras that I do not have on this. But I'm probably going to wait until there is a 4K. I just have a funny feeling watching this last night, man. The set locations in Haiti, the Dominican Republic, just the cinematography, man, the Haitian voodoo, the ceremonies, the color scheme palette that is used, just some of the scenes, man. I'm really thinking, man, this is gonna look really freaking good on 4K. And so anyways, this is definitely, if you're still riding the old DVD, there is a Scream Factory release. I'm almost sure there is, and I'm sure it's really good, and I'm sure it's well worth it. But if you're like me, man, that really likes to just hang on just a little bit longer and get the best edition, I'm holding out for the 4K. I'm pretty sure they have not released that yet. I really need to take a look on that. But anyway, Serpent and the Rainbow. I was just thinking to myself, you know, when I was just kind of messing around with while I was looking at the trailer for this, and you know, I think my three most favorite trailers ever for a Wes Craven film. First of all, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's one of maybe my favorite film from him of all time. I absolutely freaking love that film. Saw it as a 14-year-old kid in the movie theater way back in the day. But this trailer for A Serpent and the Rainbow as well, man. And I would have to say a third would probably be the international trailer for Scream 3. Those three trailers, man, they just get me primed, man, to just get into that movie. But really, this is based on Wade Davis's book. He is sort of, I think he was an anthropologist, adventures, sort of, you know, well, in this case, he had written a book about his adventures down in Haiti. I believe it was Haiti, looking for a zombification drug. Apparently, word perhaps washed up on his shore somehow that there was such a thing, and so he went on the look for it. Well, he basically compiled his everything that happened to him in this book. And now this book, as Wes Craven said in this in the Fangoria issue, well, the February 1988 issue, which came out probably just after the movie, he said he didn't even need a script for this movie. He just read the book and realized, man, that this was what he needed to do. And so throughout the article in the Fango, he sort of just highlights some of the things that you would almost kind of expect or wonder, did this happen or that happen? You know, because you're dealing with voodoo, right? And yeah, I mean, some of the cast did experience some really bizarre things, man. And he, in fact, had dealt with some interesting things, that nightmares and stuff, I guess. And he said, in fact, in the article, he said he almost died, although he did not elaborate in the article on how that almost happened. And then, of course, it was right on the eve of a revolution. They had a dictator down there, and eventually they got as much filming as they could in Haiti, and then they sort of got pushed out of there, and for safety reasons went to the Dominican Republic to wrap up filming on this. And you know, and I'm so glad they got into Haiti to get what they did, because what gets captured on a film, man, is it might be one of the best representations of voodoo on film. We have, really, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's some good films out there. But really, this Bill Pullman plays the Wade Davis character, and we're introduced to him early on. And basically, news will wash up on this pharmaceutical company shores that there is this this possibility of this drug that they might be able to use as an anesthetic. And so, of course, being that he's already come down from, sort of that neck of the woods down, I think he was in Brazil, he just got back home. They commissioned him to go down there on their behalf and get this drug. Now, he's going into a war-torn, just a politically, unstable country that is Haiti, ruled by a dictator. And not that this was part of the book, I don't think, but, Wes Craven had created sort of an antagonist to be a thorn in Bill Pullman's side there, his character side. And it is, of course, the guy who's in charge of the police force, the secret police down there. He is also a witch doctor. And so you kind of have that whole aspect of the story. And so basically, I think his name, I want to say Bill Pullman, Dennis Allen. His name is Dennis Allen. So he gets down there, man. He hooks up with this doctor girl down there, and it's sort of a guide and it's a help. And another precursor that gets him down there is deals with this character named Christophe, who 7 years earlier apparently fell victim to this powder, this substance that was used to basically, kill him. Well, people thought he was dead. He was buried. And then, of course, now 7 years later, someone's captured or gotten pictures of him walking around a cemetery, I guess. So, this is also a catalyst for this pharmaceutical company to want to get down there and get their hands on this. And so, of course, Dennis Allen does. And when he gets down there, man, he just sort of falls into this really freaking weird world, man, of voodoo and just some really intense imagery, man. It doesn't take long for him to fall into, fall under its spell, man, in terms of like nightmares and visions and just a lot of crazy stuff, man. This is sort of an interesting extension of sorts of A Nightmare on Elm Street, but more grounded or more real, sort of. The antagonist is a little bit otherworldly in terms of what he cannot do, but it really lays out an interesting story in terms of Alan's quest for this drug, and he hooks up with this guy Mozart, who apparently can make this drug. And after a few interesting dealings with him, in which he has to kind of call his bluff on a few things, Mozart will agree to make this drug for him, but he's got to be sort of a willing participant. He's got to actually do it with him. And so, a lot of things just start creating problems. Now, the witch doctor there, I can't remember his name, Patrod, Argent Patrod. He, of course, he is in the act of just basically trying to root out any political radicals. And Bill Pullman's character comes in there right at the wrong time. And so he sort of falls underneath this guy's spell, who wants him out of the picture, because he just sort of stumbles his way into a situation that is not very safe for him. And so it just, the whole story really just creates an interesting opportunity to experience some really, really, really crazy stuff. The imagery is just out of this world, man. The voodoo, the nightmares, the visions, just the fun that Wes Craven has on this film. You can tell he's just having a blast with it. And I don't know how much more I want to say, but man, I was really wishing last night, man, that I was putting in a 4K, or at least wishing that I had upgraded to the screen factor, only that maybe I could have been running I don't know if Wes has a commentary on that. I would imagine he does. He usually does do commentaries. But I'm sure the Screen Factory has a lot of extras on there. And but I just found the film really, really compelling, and I'm telling you, it's at the top of the Wes Craven heap in terms of the few films that I really, really do love. And like I said, this has sort of grown on me of late in a way that Carpenter's Prince of Darkness did. And I'm just really quickly just falling in love with this thing. I'm not sure where this sort of came from, but I'm trying to think. One thing I did want to share with you guys real quick. You know, I have a few stacks of old Fangos, Gore Zones, and stuff from back when I was a kid and stuff. But basically, this is the '88 issue, and I'm telling you, it pays off. It pays off to have these things, man, because you can go back, man. If you're reviewing an old movie, you can kind of go back and find old articles, and you know, I'll just kind of show you one more. And just kind of highlights a lot of interesting things. Two things real quick that came out of this article. One was in '88, apparently the idea was that Wes and a New Line had sort of gotten past their issues, their problems that kind of resulted from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, to the point where it was already being accepted that he was going to have a role with the new Nightmare on Elm Street 4 that was already starting to be thought up. Now, we know this didn't happen, but at the public, you know, the publication of this article, yeah, this is one of the few that I'm actually missing my cover, unfortunately. But you get to the end of the article, and there is another sort of, this is coming down the pike. Now, unfortunately, we know it would not come down the pike, but at the end of the article, it's mentioned that Wes Craven was developing a script that would have brought The Hills Have Eyes Part 3, but the catch is, it was going to take, I know this is going to sound like really, really, really corny, just because of what we've seen in the past, but it was going to take place in space, man. It was going to be like a mining colony, and they were going to run into, there were going to be mutants that they were going to run into. And this is going to be the setting, or the push for The Hills Have Eyes Part 3. I don't know whatever happened to that idea. I don't know whatever happened to the script. I'm just reading a small little paragraph in my Fangoria from '88, and I'm just thinking, I wonder what happened to that idea. I don't know if that idea actually would have worked the way that maybe perhaps he was initially imagining it would. But the point, you know, is it's fun to go back and read some of these old articles from, you know, the 80s and stuff, because I've more than once I have run into just a small paragraph where this thing was supposedly coming down the pike, and you're just going, what? Now, sometimes you're like, holy crap, what would have happened if that actually materialized? And then there are other things like this one. I don't know, maybe it's better this one did not materialize. But the thing that was motivating is he wanted to make up to the fans for how bad The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 was. And so it might have been all right, man. I mean, when you're motivated from that kind of thing, things actually end up turning out all right. But I don't know, chew on that one. That's kind of weird. So anyways, The Serpent and the Rainbow. If it's been a while since you checked that out, definitely go check this out. This is a fun movie. I am mostly for the imagery, I think. It's just, he creates a really interesting world to inhabit for a while. And I am definitely going to be looking for a 4K release on this thing. This is going to be my upgrade, definitely for that. So here at week 452, man, rediscovering some Wes Craven, you know, in the sense of The Serpent and the Rainbow. Definitely worth checking out. We always end these things off with Go Bills.